Plato's is a philosophical masterpiece. Written around 380 BC, it still sparks debate today. Imagine a group of friends gathered at a dinner party. They're discussing justice, goodness, and the ideal society. That's essentially what is a lively dialogue exploring profound questions.
Plato uses the character of Socrates, his own teacher, to guide the conversation. Socrates challenges his companions, pushing them to think critically. He uses clever analogies and thought experiments. He wants them to question their assumptions and delve deeper into the nature of truth, morality, and the human condition.
At the heart of lies the question, what is justice? Is it simply following the rules, or is there something more? Socrates argues that justice is more than just external laws. It's about inner harmony.
He compares the individual soul to a city. A just individual, like a just city, is one where all parts work together in harmony. This means reason must rule over our desires and emotions, just as wise rulers should guide a city. This idea of justice as harmony forms the foundation of Plato's vision for an ideal society.
To achieve this ideal city, Plato introduces the concept of the philosopher king. This idea is rooted in his belief that the pursuit of wisdom and knowledge is the highest calling. Plato envisions a society where the rulers are not just politicians or warriors, but individuals who have dedicated their lives to understanding the deeper truths of existence. He believes that only philosophers, with their love of wisdom and truth, are fit to rule. These philosopher kings would be trained from a young age, undergoing rigorous education in philosophy, mathematics, and the arts. They would be taught to look beyond the superficial and to seek the essence of things. They are the ones who can see beyond the shadows of illusion and grasp the true forms of justice, beauty, and goodness. In Plato's view, these philosopher kings would be uniquely positioned to create a just society, as they would be guided by their understanding of the eternal and unchanging truths.
This idea is controversial, of course. The notion of philosopher kings raises many questions and concerns. Many people might question whether philosophers, often seen as detached from reality, would make practical leaders. Critics argue that philosophers, with their abstract thinking and theoretical approaches, might lack the pragmatism needed to handle the complexities of governance. Plato argues that philosophers, by understanding the true nature of things, are best equipped to make just and wise decisions for the good of everyone. He believes that their deep insights into the nature of justice, ethics, and the good life would enable them to govern in a way that promotes the well-being of all citizens. In essence, Plato's philosopher king is not just a ruler, but a guardian of the ideal society, dedicated to the pursuit of truth and the betterment of humanity.
Plato doesn't just propose an ideal, he also examines the flaws of existing systems. He outlines 4 types of government, each with its strengths and weaknesses. He uses the metaphor of a ship to illustrate his point.
Imagine a ship sailing on the open sea. Who should be at the helm? Plato argues that just as a ship needs a skilled captain, a state requires a capable ruler. He then presents 4 types of government: timocracy, oligarchy, democracy, and tyranny.
One of the most famous passages is the allegory of the cave, written by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato in his work, The Republic. Imagine prisoners chained inside a dark, dimly lit cave, their entire lives seeing only shadows projected on the wall in front of them. They mistake these shadows for reality, believing them to be the only truth they know.
One day, one of the prisoners manages to escape and ventures outside the cave. For the first time, he sees the outside world, the sun, and the true forms of things, realizing that the shadows were mere illusions. Filled with this newfound knowledge, he returns to the cave to tell the others about his discovery. However, they don't believe him and are skeptical of his claims, preferring the comfort of their familiar shadows.
This powerful allegory illustrates the transformative power of education and enlightenment. It emphasizes how knowledge can liberate us from ignorance and open our eyes to a broader reality. It shows how easily we can be trapped by our limited perceptions and how philosophy and critical thinking can help us break free from these chains. By questioning our assumptions and seeking deeper understanding, we can see the world in a new light, much like the prisoner who escaped the cave. The allegory of the cave remains a timeless reminder of the importance of education, the pursuit of truth, and the courage to challenge our own beliefs. It encourages us to look beyond the surface and seek the deeper truths that lie beneath. Just as the escaped prisoner experienced a profound transformation, we too can embark on a journey from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, and from illusion to reality.
Plato believed that to understand society, we must understand the individuals within it. He categorizes people into three types based on their dominant desires: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain.
Lovers of wisdom, like philosophers, seek truth and knowledge above all else. Lovers of honor are driven by ambition and the pursuit of glory. Lovers of gain are motivated by wealth and material possessions.
Plato believed that the type of government that emerges in a society reflects the dominant desires of its people.
In a timocracy, the rulers are lovers of honor. They value courage, military prowess, and the pursuit of victory. This form of government, Plato argues, while seemingly noble, can easily slide into the next stage.
The constant focus on warfare and competition can create an environment where material wealth becomes increasingly important, paving the way for oligarchy. The very people who were once driven by honor and duty may find themselves seduced by the allure of riches.
Oligarchy is ruled by the wealthy few. In this system, Plato argues, the gap between the rich and poor widens, leading to instability and unrest. The love of money, rather than the common good, becomes the driving force of society.
This disparity creates a breeding ground for conflict and resentment. The poor, increasingly marginalized and disenfranchised, become ripe for revolution, longing for a change that promises equality, even if it comes at the cost of order. This paves the way for democracy.
Democracy, for Plato, isn't the ideal we might think it is. He sees it as a dangerous form of government where freedom can descend into chaos. He believed that in a democracy, people are easily swayed by their passions and desires.
Without the guidance of reason and wisdom, they make poor decisions, leading to instability and ultimately tyranny. Like a ship without a captain, the state drifts aimlessly, vulnerable to the whims of the loudest voices.
Tyranny, the rule of a single absolute ruler, is the final and worst form of government. The tyrant, often arising from the chaos of democracy, seizes power and rules through fear and oppression.
Individual rights are suppressed and dissent is silenced. Plato saw tyranny as the inevitable outcome of a society that has abandoned reason and justice. It is the ultimate price paid for unchecked ambition, greed, and the failure to cultivate wisdom and virtue in its citizens.
Plato's works, though written centuries ago, remain strikingly relevant today. His philosophical inquiries delve deep into the essence of human nature, exploring themes that continue to echo through the corridors of time. His insights into human nature, justice, and the challenges of governance continue to resonate. Plato's dialogues, filled with probing questions and profound reflections, challenge us to think critically about our own society. The allegory of the cave, for example, serves as a timeless reminder to question our assumptions and strive for greater understanding. It illustrates the journey from ignorance to enlightenment, urging us to seek truth beyond the shadows of our limited perceptions.
His analysis of different forms of government, while idealized, offers valuable lessons about the dangers of unchecked power, the importance of balance, and the need for wise and just leadership. Plato's Republic, with its vision of a just society, continues to inspire debates about the role of justice and the nature of the ideal state. While the ideal of the philosopher king might seem unrealistic in our modern world, Plato's call for leaders who prioritize wisdom, justice, and the common good remains as urgent as ever. In an era where leadership is often questioned, his vision reminds us of the enduring need for integrity and ethical governance. Plato's timeless wisdom challenges us to reflect on our values and strive for a society that upholds the principles of justice and the common good.